Good afternoon. My name is Carol Hamilton. I am the Senior Vice President of Development here at ALS TDI, and this is one of my favorite, the next hour is one of my favorites of the year. You just learned a lot of really great science. Thank you to all of our collaborators, all of the presenters. Thank you, everybody. That was really outstanding. And now you get to meet some of the incredible people who inspire it. The ALS TDI Leadership Awards are named for some of the early pioneers, the people who were outstanding in the fight to end ALS decades ago. They struck us with their strength and their perseverance and their willingness to engage with the science to make it better and to go faster. And in that way, the people that you're about to meet are their heirs, in a way. They're carrying that torch, and they're using it to light fires under us, right? To keep us going as best and as fast as we can to help everyone living with ALS today. I'd like to thank them all for being here, and I can't wait for you to meet them. So, our first award is in honor of Alexander Haywood. Named in honor of Stephen Haywood's son, this award is presented to a young member of the ALS community, or in this case, two, who has taken the initiative to make a difference in the fight against ALS. Since losing his father at a young age, Alex had been involved in continuing his family's effort to support ALS research by hosting fundraisers, speaking at events, and sharing his father's story. In the same way, this award honors a young person or young people who has made an impact by fundraising or raising awareness and inspiring those around them to get involved and being very, very generous about their birthdays. Through their efforts, they have proven that regardless of age, we can achieve amazing things when we donate our time and effort to support a cause we really care about. I'd like to call up Samantha Haywood, Alex's cousin, to present this award. Where are you, Samantha? Come on up, you can use this mic. Alex Haywood, the award's namesake, is currently in Atlanta representing ALS TDI at the Hop on a Cure events that are going on there this weekend. And we have David, who got stuck with us. But Alex and our Vice President of Operations, Ken Thompson, who was Stephen Haywood's best friend, are down in Atlanta bringing your vibes to the South this weekend. So Samantha, I hand it to you.
Can everyone hear me? Yeah? Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Haywood, and I'm here today to present the Alexander Haywood Leadership Award. Okay, so y'all must be wondering, Samantha, why are you qualified to give this award? The short answer, I'm not. The long answer is I grew up around Alex, the namesake of this award, and therefore I grew up around a lot of the ALS TDI community. Alex is my older cousin, and I've always looked up to him. The qualities he represents are embodied in this award. When Alex could not be here today to present, he asked me to do it for him, and I was very excited. I mean, it's not every day I'm given the opportunity to present an award to such deserving kids. That brings me to what this award means. This award is given to children who make a positive impact on the ALS community. This year's award winners are brothers 9-year-old Lincoln and 7-year-old Will Bennett. After their mother's diagnosis of ALS in 2023, these boys decided to get involved in fundraising. They started a neighborhood lemonade stand selling regular and strawberry lemonade, otherwise known as my favorite drink, with massive results within the community. They told me that they were out there for a long time. The Bennett brothers hail from Grove City, Ohio. Lincoln, in 4th grade, loves baseball and reading Dogman and Dive a Wimpy Kid books. Will, in 2nd grade, loves riding bikes and playing video games, and like most boys of this generation, especially Minecraft, they're actually going to be Minecraft characters this year for Halloween. Their family and mine both share a mutual love of the Marvel Universe. In fact, when I met the boys via Zoom, I got to see their big personalities. It was awesome, and Will was even wearing a Venom costume. Even with the big changes occurring around them, the boys stay in good spirits. We talked about their favorite things to do with their mom, both before and after her diagnosis. They told me she was a high school teacher. Will and his mom have a tradition of reading and watching TV together at night. He remembers she used to rock him, and they would sing "Don't Stop Believing" together, while Lincoln said he loves to play board games and read with his mom. And his favorite moment with his mom was when they visited a farm in Ohio. She got to have her dream come true and swim with some otters, which in my opinion sounds awesome, right? So it's one thing to run a lemonade stand, but these boys really took their selflessness to the next level when they asked their friends and family to donate to ALS research. And in lieu of giving them birthday presents, they requested money for donations. Overall, Will and Lincoln managed to raise over $3,500 for ALS research. These brothers have big hearts and big ideas, and I'm honored to present the Alexander Haywood Leadership Award to Will and Lincoln Bennett.
And hold on, please, for the voice. Do you guys want to speak into this? Or do you want me to bend this down?
I want to speak into
If you can do this, it'd be great, because then you can get your picture taken. Here, stand right here, you guys. Awesome. Sam, you stay with them while I go get
Let's shift a little bit this way. There we go, a little more. Good job. All right, you guys got this.
I love my mom and my family so much. When I was a kid, my mom fought ALS, and I'm not going to stop fighting for ALS research. Thank you for this award and for the family who came to cheer us on. Thank you, Grandma, Grandpa, Nene, Papa, Blake, Aunt Allie, and Dad.
My mom wants to make sure now more than ever we support scientists, commend their work, and to fund research. This administration is doing real harm, and I am so proud of my sons who embody my values. We will have a treatment that makes ALS a livable disease. We know you are watching, Mom. We love you, infinity blessing universe, and you can't beat that.
You want to get your picture taken with that award right there? You want to get in there, Samantha? Get right behind them. Congratulations, you guys. Next we are going to present the Fran Delaney Challenge and Respect Award to somebody I really admire and really like a lot, Mindy Erlab. I'm going to read this description of this award because, boy, does she fit it. This award is presented to a member of the ALS community who has shown true leadership by engaging the community to advocate for and accelerate research, right? If anybody knows Mindy, we're done here. Through involvement in fundraising and awareness events, this person demonstrates a unique ability to organize and inspire others to help end ALS. They challenge those around them in the loveliest way to join the fight against ALS and actively spread awareness of ALS TDI's work and mission. And from here, I'd like to turn the mic over to Fernando to present the award.
Thank you, Carol. Well, this part of the day, I get up here, I'm okay talking about science, and then I have to do the stuff where you feel it. I think about the Fran Delaney Challenge and Respect Award a lot, actually. I remember Fran, probably 23 years ago. He was a member of our board of directors, and he would come through the lab on tours, and I remember his questions, and they were very incisive questions. he pushed all of us, even those of us who were like 21 and 22, to make sure that we knew what we were talking about. And you learn a lot about a person's priorities from the questions that they ask, right? And like we see that this morning today, all of the questions people are asking, you know what's top of mind. And so in 2020, in the heart of the pandemic, I ended up connected to Mindy Erlob. It was a moment of like intense isolation for all of us, and we were having people shuttling into the lab at different shifts, and we were trying to get a lot done, but it was a very sort of surreal moment, and we got, I think it was through info@als.net, we had an email inquiry from a person who was asking good questions about C9orf72 ALS. And so I had an opportunity to connect and have a number of Zoom calls during that year with Mindy Erlob and her dad, who also took a lot of interest. And again, the priorities really were elevated by the questions that she asked. And she was asking about what we were doing for C9orf72 mediated ALS because it was in her family. And so in the time since, the subsequent 5 years, we're friends. We've gotten to be friends during that time. And Mindy has been a huge supporter of the work that we're doing at ALS TDI, but not just ALS TDI, the entire ALS community. She's been a force of nature in what she's been able to do. Gosh, I'm probably going to forget a few things on your lengthy resume at this point, Mindy, but she's testified in front of the NIH, she's testified in front of the FDA, she was a member of the National Academy of Sciences committee to figure out really what to do next to advance therapeutics for ALS. She's currently a participant in more than 20 longitudinal natural history studies for ALS and FTD, and she is an author of an incredible memoir called Last Nerve that I've had the privilege to read, and I hope you all do too. So it really is an honor for me to introduce and present this award to my good friend Mindy Erlob. Thank you. What's that?
Look at that.
Oh.
I just want to hug you first. Thank you. I was telling Glynis I was hoping it was a pony, but okay. Oh my gosh. All right. So, back in 2020, my mom, my nanny, died of ALS that was caused by the C9orf72 genetic mutation. Back then, I knew that watching my beloved nanny die of C9 ALS was only a part of my fight against this disease. The first thing I did when I found out that I carried the fatal gene was to try to find a supportive community for myself and for my kids who are also at genetic risk. I Googled the term genetic ALS, and the first thing that popped up was the ALS TDI's website. There was an interview with Daniel Barvin, who carries the same genetic mutation that I do. From the beginning, I knew that I could count on TDI, because when I contacted them, I got a hold of a real person who not only knew Daniel, but also knew how rare and how overlooked genetically inherited ALS was. Within one day, Daniel and I connected, and I realized we were part of a growing community. We all lost family members to ALS, and we were all at risk of developing it. Living with the risk of ALS is its own special hell, because it's hard to have hope when you're busy grieving the loss of family members. Daniel and I, along with many other genetic carriers, formed End the Legacy, an organization dedicated to supporting those impacted by genetic ALS. It is because of organizations like ALS TDI that genetic carriers have hope for a cure. And with hope, so much is possible. As Fernando mentioned, because of my connection initially to ALS TDI, I was able to testify before the FDA and NIH, collaborate on the National Academy of Science, Engineering, and Medicine's report. I was a keynote speaker for NINDS Nonprofit Forum. I've spoken on the Hill to members of the House about genetic non-discrimination. I've participated in all these longitudinal studies of genetically inherited ALS. And I've come to realize that this kind of advocacy, collaborating with labs like ALS TDI, government officers, pharma companies, and medical practitioners, gets us much closer to a cure. Before my mom died, I started writing my memoir called Last Nerve. It came out in May of this year. In it, I write that the fight against ALS makes me reevaluate the way I perceive myself. It's a thankless job, so the accolades have to come from within. Nobody will acknowledge the work that I do trying to end genetically inherited ALS. This is a part of letting go, surrendering the expectation that anyone will care. Well, standing here, I stand corrected. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for carrying ALS TDI. Thank you so much for this honor, and I am so glad you popped up in my Google search.
We have a box for you and stuff, so you don't have to carry that. She's done even more than she's letting on. So if you have an opportunity to talk with Mindy over cocktails and understand and learn a little bit how, with grace, she has changed the way this community looks at asymptomatic genetic carriers and the role that people with familial ALS can play in this fight. Thank you. We have two, well, kind of three, a couple and another person who are going to be presented with the Mary Lou Krausnick Courage and Love Award. I will read that description and then call up some people to present it. This award is presented to a member of the ALS community who demonstrates unwavering courage and optimism. The recipient of this award selflessly leads by example to uplift and inspire those around them. They believe in the power of positivity and remain committed to finding treatments for ALS. I don't know how everybody does this all the time, but jeepers creepers, all of you people living with ALS, you sure do that. Gosh. This individual consistently serves as a model of strength, courage, and love in the ALS community. First, I'd like to call up Mike Shannon to present this award to Gary and Carol Godfrey through video. Great.
Thanks. Thank you, Carol. I had the privilege of being in Auburn last weekend, where Gary and Carol held their second annual Brew Good to Do Good release party with New Realm Brewing Company, and all their friends arrived. I got to meet Charles Barkley. And anyway, Becky was there, Becky, my colleague, to present the award to Gary and Carol.
Tonight, I have the honor of presenting the Mary Lou Krausnick Courage and Love Award to Carol and Gary Godfrey. This award is presented to a member or members of the ALS community who demonstrate unwavering courage and optimism. The recipients of this award selflessly lead by example to uplift and inspire those around them. They believe in the power of positivity and remain committed to finding treatments for ALS. These individuals consistently serve as models of strength, love, and courage in the ALS community. Since Gary's ALS diagnosis in 2019, he and Carol have faced each day with remarkable courage and unwavering optimism. They truly embody their personal mantra, "Make today your best day." Gary and Carol have become pillars of hope for individuals newly diagnosed with ALS throughout Georgia and Alabama and beyond, offering emotional support, and they are dedicated advocates raising both awareness and vital funds for ALS care and research through various initiatives. One of their efforts is the Carrie and Gary Challenge, which has united Auburn and Alabama fan bases in the fight against ALS. This challenge is the brainchild of Gary and Carrie Good, a beloved University of Alabama football player, and here tonight, and fellow person living with ALS. Leveraging the widespread enthusiasm surrounding the Iron Bowl rivalry, the challenge has raised over $300,000 since its launch in 2022. Funds going directly toward essential care services in the region. In 2024, they expanded their efforts by launching a fundraising campaign for ALS research. Inspired by the success of ALS for ALS and their love of Auburn football, they hosted a VIP tasting event before an Auburn game that raised nearly $80,000 in its inaugural year. Due to its success, the event is returning this year with even greater goals. Above all, Carol and Gary are known for their deep kindness, empathy, and care for everyone that they encounter. Their tireless commitment to finding a cure for ALS continues to inspire all who meet them, including myself, and I'm blessed to call them my friend.
And we have Gary's acceptance speech too.
I am honored to be the recipient of the Stephen Milne.
Oops.
Carol and I are honored to receive the Mary Lou Krausneck Courage and Love Award. I wish I could have met Mary Lou before she passed away in 2007 from ALS. She sounds like a person who had a passion for living each day to the fullest, a person who lived by my mantra, make today your best day yet. ALS is a ravaging disease. It doesn't discriminate. It affects young and old, people from all nationalities and of all colors. ALS isn't an old white man's disease, and ALS isn't a rare disease, as people will tell you. ALS robs you of your prime years. It's been over 80 years since Lou Gehrig announced he had ALS, and still there is no cure or treatments to preserve life. That's why all of you are here tonight, so thank you in advance for your generous support.
Carol, Gary, I bet you're watching, and could everybody just kind of turn, is that the camera that's going to the live stream? Could everybody turn around and wave and congratulate? Thank you, Carol and Gary. Congratulations. Courtney Mish, would you join me? I'll let you take it.
Hi everyone, I'm Courtney Mish on the development team here at ALS TDI. I'm honored to present the second Mary Lou Krausneck Courage and Love Award, an award that recognizes unwavering courage, selflessness, and hope to a person who embodies all of that and more. Katie De Gregorio Silvestri. At just 34 years old, 3 months after welcoming her beautiful daughter into the world, Katie was diagnosed with ALS. Rather than turning inward, Katie chose to face the diagnosis with strength, compassion, and a deep commitment to continue to help others. Before ALS, Katie spent her career as a nurse practitioner, caring for others during their most vulnerable moments, in emergency rooms, pediatric hospitals, cancer center ICUs, and in underserved communities. She was the one holding hands, offering comfort, and saving lives. And now, even as she lives with this devastating disease, she continues to show up for others with that same compassion and grace. Katie is not only a caregiver, advocate, and fighter, she is a loving wife, devoted mother, daughter, sister, and best friend to many. A testament to her impact on others, Katie's community rallied around her after her diagnosis and continues to support her through Katie's Cure. You'd be hard-pressed to go to Falmouth on Cape Cod without seeing someone sporting a Katie's Cure t-shirt, hat, or sweatshirt. Her community rallies fiercely behind her because Katie has spent years showing up for them. And this year, during ALS Awareness Month, Katie once again turned her strength into action. Reigniting the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, she sparked a wave of generosity that raised over $30,000 for ALS research at ALS TDI. But perhaps the most telling sign of who Katie is came quietly. When a fellow member of her ALS story was at risk of missing a dream vacation due to a last-minute caregiver conflict, Katie didn't hesitate. She offered up her own caregiver so her friend could still go. Because that's who Katie is. Giving, loving, selfless. Katie is not just surviving ALS, she is showing us all how to live with purpose, how to love with your whole heart, and how to lead with courage. Katie sadly can't be here today, but she sent me a message earlier and wanted me to share this with everyone. She says, "I am still fighting for a cure with the support of our community after having a trach placed 2 weeks ago. I am honored to be awarded this honor, and when I recover, I fully expect to be advocating and fundraising for ALS TDI, bringing hope and optimism to this disease." Though she couldn't be here today, we hope Katie feels a deep appreciation and admiration in this room that we hold for her. We celebrate the healer, the mother, the fighter, and the dear friend that she is. Almost made it. Katie, this community stands with you. We honor your fight, your heart, and your extraordinary impact. Thank you.
You got it, okay. Welcome, Glynis Murray.
Wow. Why do I have to go after the one that makes everyone cry? Sorry. I'm going to put this down very gingerly. Well, hello. I am Glynis Murray, and I have the incredible honor to present the Stephen Milne Adventurous Spirit Award. This award is presented to a member of the ALS community who strives to find new and inventive ways to fundraise, advocate, and raise awareness for ALS research. The recipient of this award consistently explores bold new approaches and engages others in the fight to end ALS. They are driven by a commitment to excellence in ALS advocacy as they inspire their community to support the mission of the ALS Therapy Development Institute. So let's take that and just break it down for a second. A member of the community who finds new and inventive ways to fundraise and raise awareness for ALS research. I think most people kind of think, hey, I think I might host a bake sale, or let me do a charity golf event. But nope, not this guy. Tim Fenton thought, I know what sounds reasonable. I'll just hop on a bike and pedal across the entire United States. I'm going to go from Oregon at the Pacific Ocean and end up in Virginia at the Atlantic Ocean, all raising awareness and funds for ALS research. Because apparently, go big or go home isn't enough. He went big, and then he went on for 4,200 miles. This man was driven to make a difference, and also driven to pedal over, and this number blows my mind, 1,365,000 times pedaling on his bike. That's a lot of leg days, let me tell you. Tim did get lost on Centium Pass in Oregon on day 2, which did worry me a little bit, but thankfully we got that out of the way early and never really truly got lost again. He did climb through the Colorado Rockies, including the lovely 11,500-foot Hoosier Pass, which, for the record, is not that much fun to say when you're gasping at the top of it. He stayed in a few haunted church basements, two motels that could only be described as the Murder Hotel and the Murder Hotel, the sequel, and faced down rural country farm dogs that apparently thought he was the fundraiser. Now, all the online cycling forums say about these dogs, don't try and outrun them. Stop pedaling and use your bike as a shield. Yell, no, go home. Or carry a deterrent, maybe some treats. Well, Tim tried all of that. Let's just say the dogs were not impressed. The deterrent, he lost that somewhere in Kansas. The yelling, absolutely useless. The bike as a shield thing, the dogs almost popped his tire. And outrunning them, well, let's just say Tim discovered his personal best speed record in the state of Kentucky. But what truly did drive him was more than the adrenaline and the bagged coffee, were the people that he met along the way, the campground neighbors who shared their meals and their beers and their stories, and many of those stories of loved ones that they lost to ALS. Those moments gave him fuel that no protein bar could ever give him. So he made daily videos dedicating rides to people living with ALS, spreading hope and awareness 1 mile and one sore muscle at a time. So today, I am honored and also a little bit out of breath just talking about him to present the Stephen Milne Adventurous Spirit Award to a man who turned an impossible idea into an inspiring journey. Mr. Tim Fenton of Pedals versus ALS.
I am honored to be the recipient of the Stephen Milne Adventurous Spirit Award for the cross-country Pedals versus ALS solo bicycle ride, raising funds for ALS TDI. Before I embarked on the journey, I actually had many preconceived ideas as to how it might unfold, and the majority of those were quite wrong. And while I didn't have some profound epiphany at the conclusion of the ride, I did have a few key takeaways as follows. The first is that kindness and generosity run quite deep in this country. I was very surprised to receive those acts almost on a daily basis as I went from coast to coast. Second, I had predictions that I would encounter folks whose lives had been affected by ALS in some way. And actually, it was far more than I had predicted, whether indirect or directly. And lastly, while I was in control of the pedals to a certain extent on the bicycle, I was very much out of control in terms of the special and surprising encounters I experienced along the way, many of which were simply meant to be. I could not have predicted those, I could not have planned those, and I'm talking in very remote areas where I had very unique and special encounters. I'd like to thank three key individuals for making Petals versus ALS the success that it was. First, Ned Becker from Missoula, Montana, who before I even started turning the petals, invited an arrival party for me in his hometown to help with my fundraising efforts. That was remarkable. Second, a dear friend of mine out of Colorado named Fred Bivrell, who helped with the day-to-day minutiae or details that he obsessed with, such as weather conditions, where I might stay, elevation gain, etc. And third, and certainly not least, Glennis Murray of ALS TDI, who was always beside me in spite of her being based in San Francisco. She was with me on a day-to-day basis, making sure that everything operated smoothly. I could not have done this fundraising effort ride without her support. So thank you so very much, Glennis. My appreciation goes to ALS TDI for their continued efforts to help eradicate ALS. And my hope is that with their focused efforts, that will come in the near term. Thank you all so much.
That up and show it to Tim online. I bet he's watching.
And Tim, I know you're watching because I just think my thing just popped in. Here is your lovely award, and I'd love for everyone to say, "Pedal, Tim, pedal!" Pedal, Tim, pedal! Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Tim, and thank you. We have a set of recipients for our next very important award. Hold on, I'm looking for one of them right now. Where'd she go? Where? Oh. Yeah. Oh, back. Okay, there you go. This is the Stephen Haywood Patients Today Award. I think most of you know that ALS TDI, then ALS TDF, was founded in a family basement just a few miles from here when Stephen was diagnosed at the age of 29. His family joins us today to present these awards and has been with us every day since they started their effort and turned into what is now the ALS TDI that all of you know. I'm going to read the description of the award. This award is presented to a person with ALS who has been an exemplary community advocate for ALS research and awareness. They are knowledgeable of current research, willing to inform the community about research trends and advancements, and eager to serve as an educator for those unfamiliar with ALS. They challenge ALS researchers to remain firmly planted within the ALS community and focus on people with ALS today in the hope of accelerating treatments and cures as quickly as possible. This person is a role model, in this case for people with ALS, encouraging them to find the strength and determination to fight this disease through research every day. I'd like to invite Ben Haywood, Stephen's brother, to come up and present these awards.
All right. I'm not sure I'm going to keep it together like my daughter just did, so I'll do my best. I'm always humbled to be asked to present the Stephen Haywood Patients Today Award. As many of you know, my brother Jamie, together with my brother Stephen, founded ALS TDI. Stephen was both the heart and the inspiration of this institute, and this award carries his name because it represents exactly what he embodied and also an early core value of the institute, patients living with ALS today. When I look around the room, I'm reminded that ALS TDI wasn't built by one person. It was built by a community. My brothers who started it, the leaders like Fernando who carry the mission forward today, the faces like Carol who greet and support families, friends like Ken who were there from the very beginning, and of course, most importantly, the scientists who have dedicated their lives to accelerating treatments and cures. This award is a reflection of all of that spirit. It celebrates the people with ALS who embody that same urgency, who show us what it means to lead, challenge, and inspire today. That's what I love about this award. The Institute was always focused on patients living today, and the Stephen Haywood Patients Today Award celebrates those individuals who are making a difference in the community right now through resilience, through advocacy, and through their willingness to keep ALS research anchored to the lives of people and families navigating it every day. Our first recipient, Lynn Breilmeyer, embodies that spirit. For our Boston audience, quick fun fact about Lynn: when he was a little leaguer as a kid, he worshipped Yaz, Karl Yastrzemski. Gotta love that. Before ALS, Lynn worked across many industries: oil exploration, fire and alarm systems, industrial controls, marine propulsion. Like many in my family, he's a true engineer, a builder, like my brother was a builder, a tinkerer. He even built his own eye gaze computer, cutting the cost in half, because that's what engineers do. They solve problems. While Stephen was alive, we spent countless hours as a family hacking solutions to support Stephen. Lynn shares that same instinct. If something doesn't exist, he makes it. When I got to speak to him, I really could tell, like a Haywood, he's fiercely proud of his engineering roots. Since his diagnosis in 2019, Lynn has become a powerful advocate and voice in research. He's a NEALS ambassador, a patient fellow at the ALS MND Symposium, an advisor to both the NIH and the FINAH, and a participant in multiple clinical trials and observational trials, including contributing hundreds of samples to the ALS TDI ARC program. Online via social media, he also is a steady and trusted presence, challenging researchers and clarifying science for all of the community. And I'm just barely scratching the surface of all that Lynn is doing. Lynn shows us how ingenuity, persistence, and a refusal to accept limits can change what's possible. Really the true spirit of this institute. Please join me in honoring Lynn Breilmeyer. Lynn has prepared a video message for us.
ALS TDI Summit. Gosh, to everyone at the ALS TDI Summit. First, a bit of humor. I know a lot of jokes about unemployed people, but none of them work. My doctor told me to have a good day, so I went home. Well, back to the summit. I started with a lowly donation to ALS TDI in flipping through the email archive, October of 2020, 5 years ago. A year and a half after my diagnosis. At first, when I was diagnosed, I was reluctant to get involved, as many others are. And in my case, thinking that I had done something to bring this on myself. But what we know now of the mysteries of ALS, that for those of us who have the sporadic type, that despite many different correlations, we just don't know. It's a shame that today, in 2025, too many people still die within 2 years of their diagnosis, just as Lou Gehrig did in 1939. I joined the ALS TDI Precision Medicine Program in December 2022 with the speech study. It started providing biospecimens in April 2023 and graduated into the current ARC research program upon its launch in March 2023. I am still providing speech and biospecimens today. I continue to donate in my small way to the ALS Therapy Development Institute. We must all work together to push on with the needed research for this awful malady. Meanwhile, I offer my services to many organizations as well, as I do what I can to make things better for the future. Thank you, ALS TDI, for giving me the Stephen Haywood Patients Today Award for 2025 at the Summit. I trust everyone here will have a productive time and a good weekend. The late, great Stephen Hawking once said, "I'm not afraid of death, but I'm in no hurry to die. I have so much that I want to do first." And I agree with that. So I would add, I want to make things better for the future. Thanks again from Lynn Brillmeyer in Houston, Texas. Look for me here as a virtual participant at the summit. Thank you.
Let's wave to Lynn, let's all say hi and give it a wave. Congratulations. All right. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Lynn. Our second recipient is Janie Gobelli. Janie brings a different but equally vital kind of leadership, advocacy rooted in optimism and connection. Oh. All right. Advocacy rooted in optimism and connection. Janie was diagnosed in late 2021. A lifelong teacher, she taught kindergarten and third grade for over 3 decades before turning her passion for guiding others towards the ALS community. She is now a NEALS Research Ambassador, an advisor for Healy ALS Platform Trial, an active voice in the Les Turner ALS Foundation. She's contributed to research apps, supports countless patients and caregivers, and keeps the patient voice at the center of clinical progress. Like many of our award winners, it's just, I am not even able to illuminate all that they're doing. What struck me most in speaking with Janie is when she asked me about Stephen, it made me stop. Oh, sorry. My daughter's telling me I'm screwing up here. There we go. Thank you. It's good to have a teenage daughter in the audience. You know, when she asked me about my brother Stephen, it made me stop and reminisce about my brother. Someone who never sought the spotlight, but who lived with reluctant yet powerful advocacy. Stephen wanted to live his life quietly, but ALS thrust him into view, and he carried that role with grace. In her own way, Janie reflects that same balance. She didn't ask for this journey, but she has embraced advocacy with strength, positivity, and a determination to lift others. Outside of her advocacy, Janie is a glamma, which is a grandma with glamour, glamorous. And by the way, it is my favorite grandma name I've ever heard. So welcome, Glamma. She's here today with Tyler, one of her sons, and tomorrow she is celebrating her, I'm not allowed to say, 59th birthday. So let's all sing happy birthday or say happy birthday to her. She and her husband, Brett, along with their 6 dogs, live with love, joy, and gratitude. She embodies the spirit of this award: determination, positivity, and a deep commitment to helping others navigate ALS. Please join me in honoring Janie Gobelli.
Being here. My name is Janie Gobelli, and I want to thank ALS TDI for this incredible honor. To be recognized with the Stephen Haywood Patients Today Award is deeply humbling. When I look at the names of those who have received this before me, I see a lineage of strength, courage, and relentless hope, and I'm proud to stand among them. Since my diagnosis in December 2021, my world has changed in ways I could have never imagined. But through it all, one thing has stayed constant, is my belief that progress comes from people living with ALS, their caregivers, and scientists, as well as advocates who are all moving together toward one goal: a world without this disease. ALS can take away many things, but it cannot take away purpose. It cannot take away love, and it certainly cannot take away the determination we have to push for answers faster, for treatments today, and for cures tomorrow. I've learned through all my advocacy isn't about how loud your voice is, but how many voices you lift along with yours. I've been fortunate to connect with researchers who listen, caregivers who never stop giving, and a community that refuses to give up. Each person in this fight plays a part in shaping the future. To my family of my 2 sons, Kevin and Tyler, my sister Cherie, and my husband, Brett, thank you for all your patience, strength, and humor, which carry me every single day. To the ALS TDI team, thank you for never losing sight of the people behind the research. And to everyone living with ALS, you're not alone, and your story matters. Stephen Haywood once said that there is no boundary between research and the people it serves. That idea continues to guide me and all of us to fight for life, for time, and for hope. thank you again for this honor together. We'll keep moving forward towards a cure. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
I'll bring it down. I'll bring it down.
We can just leave that up there. Thank you, Janie. In years past, that Stephen Haywood Patients Today Award has been our final. This year is a new exception as we inaugurate very, very appropriately an ALS TDI Leadership Award. Most of you know that Augie Nieto was the chairman of the board of ALS TDI for 16 years while living with ALS. His business sense and his keen ability to fundraise and his, I sense, innate sense of leadership allowed him to usher this place into its foremost position in the ALS research ecosphere. The Augie Nieto Legacy Award is named in honor of Augie. It recognizes individuals and organizations who, like Augie, are committed to creating a lasting impact in the fight against ALS. A business pioneer and visionary, Augie dedicated the 18 years he lived with ALS to building a legacy that will one day bring an end to this disease. Through his leadership, he raised more than $200 million. I'm going to say it again. $200 million to advance the work at ALS TDI and ensured that future generations would face a world with effective treatments for ALS. Can you tell I'm the development person? The money made me cry. Oh, gosh. This award is presented to those who follow in Augie's footsteps, creating a long impact on the future of this disease, whether through fundraising. I'm on it. Anyway, thank you, though. Samantha, did you tell him to come do that? I'm going to start again on this last sentence. This award is presented to those who follow in Augie's footsteps, creating a long-lasting impact on the future of this disease, whether through fundraising, collaboration, awareness, or innovation. I would like to welcome Lynn Nieto to come up and present this award. I'm so happy we're doing this. Well, my mic's on.
I will use this. Thank you for your kind words. For Augie, I feel him here today. He's with us, and this is a grand reminder of why he spent the last 18 years of his life working so hard to move the needle on this disease. So for each of you living with or having a loved one living with ALS, I honor you for being here and for continuing to show up, because you're the reason why we'll make a difference. And I'm really, really pleased to be here. So I'm at a really grand, what's the right word? Disadvantage, because I met Lou this morning, and his wife and his mom and dad. So I don't know him very well, but because you were named for Augie's award, I can tell you things about Augie that I'm certain that Carol and everyone that picked you to become the first recipient of this award So if any of you ever knew Augie, he had a very bad sense of humor. He was foul, he could make you laugh. That was one of the things that was good for us with living with this disease. So I've got to imagine, Lou, you've got a little bit of humor in you. He was strong, he was determined, he was a leader, he wouldn't take no for an answer. He just had a ton of drive. And my brief encounter with Lou and his family, he said he watched the documentary that called Augie and maybe got a little glimpse into the namesake of the award. So with that, Lou, I'd like to present you with the first, is it Augie Nieto Legacy Award. So, thank you.
Hey everyone. Hi, my wife Emily, here with me today. She may need to help me get through this. Although I am a married man, I am comfortable saying that Augie Nato was a handsome motherfucker. Today I have my family with me. My mom, dad, my brother, and my dear friend Colleen. It's an absolute honor to receive an award from Augie's beautiful wife, Lynn, in memory of Augie and his everlasting legacy. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting him, but I've learned a lot through his documentary. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. You will learn a lot about Augie and about life. And I can tell you, I'm no Augie. I don't think there will ever be another Augie. But I think our stories share a few parallels. Like Augie, I took pride in my physical shape and athleticism, but when my body started to deteriorate, I was faced with a identity crisis. Sports shaped me growing up. I thought to myself, who am I now? I feel like Augie may have faced and overcame a similar challenge. Just like Augie, I'm slowly discovering that being an athlete is much more than physical capability. It is a mindset. It is a non-physical attribute that live in your heart and your soul. And nothing can take that away. Augie showed us exactly how that is done. And of course, as Lynn mentioned, let's not forget about that dirty sense of humor. That definitely helps. Thank you, ALS TDI, for putting on this incredible weekend and for inviting me and my family to all the amazing stuff and scientists at ALS TDI. Thank you for everything you do in this fight. Carol? Thank you. The ALS for ALS team, Courtney, Laura, and Mike, thank you for trusting me to help bring this initiative to Canada through the ALS Super Fund. What an amazing example of how this mission to end ALS transcends geographical and political borders. Thank you, ALS Action Canada, the organization that I represent, to Lee, Kevin, the late Mark Curtin, and so many more. And lastly, this award in more or yours, and it is mine. One more thing, and I'll shut up. I'll leave you with thought. I am no scientist. There are a lot of you in the room, but I do know energy can never be destroyed, and I am no doubt Augie's energy is always with us, and with us today. Augie and Lynn, thank you for everything. Thank you.
Ready?
No, we better get that to Brand. Hell yeah. Yeah, do you want me to do it with them now? Yeah, no, I'm going to say that. Oh, yeah, can you hand me that piece of paper, Emily? Sorry, I have to follow the rules on this paper. Oh, my God. Right? I would like to invite, if you don't want to sit all the way back, am I on? Do you hear me? If you don't want to go all the way back down, Lou, we are going to invite all of the Leadership Award winners who are with us today. Sorry. But you got all the way there. Turn around. Up to the front to do a photograph. Fernando, the rule says that you will join them, if you don't mind. Thank you. After I'm done talking, after I finish these rules, there aren't very many of them. Thank you, speakers and presenters and panelists and award winners, for the work you presented today, for the effort and love the award winners and presenters gave us today, and for what you do all year long to have gotten you to this stage. Thank you. For those of you who are sharing this day with us virtually, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to let you go do something else now. There will be a recap of the science of today that will be sent out to everyone who attended and everyone who registered, and probably even in other places that you'll be able to find through social media. And we invite our in-person attendees to join us outside for cocktails and conversations with some of the other ALS TDI researchers who will have magically joined us while you were in here crying with me. So the 2025 ALS TDI Leadership Summit is coming to a close. I couldn't be more grateful to everybody who helped put this on. Thank you to our events team and our marketing team. Thank you to our science team. Thank you to everybody here. Jeepers Creepers, this was a group effort. This was wonderful. I'll see you for a drink outside. Thanks, everybody.